G'day Bomber fans, sorry I'm a bit late with this review. The midweek fixture makes it hard to upload consistently, but gee, that was bloody deflating. At 3/4 time, I really thought this video would be different, but alas, here we are, still in the top 4, but feeling a little bit less good about things. Before I get into the review, make sure you get your player of the match votes in. Essendon players only, Brownlow style, 3 to the best, 2 to the second best, 1 to the third, you know the drill, and a little word from our sponsors. Essendon fans, body grooming is important, so I've teamed up with the legends at Manscaped to try and help our fan base be the best looking in the comp. Whether you want your balls looking fresh for fellow fans to admire, or maybe you want to make sure the stress of the MCG crowd suppresses those nasty body odors, well, look no further than Manscaped. Manscaped has everything a bloke needs, from affordable body grooming gear to comfy undies to body wash. You can find it all here at Manscaped, and if you team up with me using my product code, you can get it for, let's be honest, cheaper than it should be. I recently got the Performance Package 4.0, which came with the Lawnmower 4.0. It has done wonders downstairs, let's be real, and the Weed Whacker. I didn't know I needed a nose and ear hair trim until I used it. You, my friends, can get 20% off Manscaped products plus free shipping with the promo code EverythingEssendon20 at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code EverythingEssendon20. Now, onto the video. As we have the last few rounds, we started the game off really hot. The loud Collingwood crowd was quite early because we had control in the first term. In fact, before the siren sounded, we were 3 goals to 0. Obviously, Jordan De Goey kicked a goal to get Pies fans up and about after it had gone, but it didn't change the fact that we were the better team early. There was clearly a thought-through effort to get the ball as deep as possible in our forward 50 with Wiedemann and Draper there making a contest. It's simple but effective footy. The deeper the ball is, the easier it is to score. We were kicking most of our goals within the 30 to 40 metre range. The big test was always going to be our midfield and how it would hold up without our captain Zach Merritt. That is our class gone, and like I said in the preview, we only really roll with a few players through the guts. We don't switch things around like we did under Truck. It was Jai Caldwell who entered the mix for the first time all year in centre bounces and looked the goods. We were winning clearances and scoring from them, and he was a big reason for this. He helped Parish a lot. The second quarter was when the game really got going. The Pies kicked 3 in the first 5 or 6 minutes, and it looked easy as well. This was a theme throughout the day. We were better for, I would say, 80% of the game, but when they were better, it was far more damaging. Their 3 goals were cancelled out a tad by Langford, who kicked 2 in quick succession. He was huge up forward, and he had some great moments drifting down back as well. He may or may not feature in the votes. As a whole, though, we really struggled in the second. We scored from clearances, whether it was behinds or goals, but we couldn't transition the ball from defence to attack, something they did very well all game, which was both uplifting because it showed a new strength for us and a bit deflating because they were so easily able to stop the game the turnover game we love to play. That third quarter, though, was an Essendon masterclass. We trailed by a little under a goal at halftime and led the premiership quarter break by a little under 5 goals. We were well on top, and again, it came from the midfield. We gained territory from centre bounces. Jake Stringer was massive in the third, bashing through packs. Same to Draper. He had his Lionel Messi boots on at times, just trying to get the ball forward. The issue early was our ability to find Darcy Moore. He was all over us in defence. He had a game-high 5 intercept marks for the day, but in the third, we were so chaotic with our deep entries and so calculated with our balls around the arc, which meant he was unable to properly impact contests. It was great to see. It's why forwards like Davey and Stringer could score deep, and why Archie Perkins, for example, had a set shot from far away. Collingwood simply couldn't read our entries as well as they could in the first half. But it wouldn't last. Collingwood, in true Collingwood fashion, destroyed us in the last quarter. It was a 41-point turnaround. They won a close game, but it was an honestly fairly easy finish. It was hard to watch as a Bombers fan. You just knew it was coming as well. When they kicked the first 2, it would be a matter of time until they hit the lead. Yes, we were poor, but you do have to give credit where credit is due. They are an incredible team with so much belief. It's a bit of a meme, but they really are never out of the game. They are rightfully premiership favourites at the moment. Every single soul in that stadium on Tuesday knew the comeback was on, including all wearing Essendon jumpers on the field. We were rattled. But in the end, you gotta say this is a missed opportunity. Even against such a good team, there is never an excuse to give up a 5-goal lead. In the end, we just ran out of legs. Players were slipping and sliding. We were giving up chases. We just did not have it in us, especially in the midfield. I feel like they were winning every single important clearance. The inside 50 count was fairly even not long after the half, but the game ended with the Pies having in their forward 50 almost 20 more times than us. Our midfield setup really couldn't compete with theirs late in the game. It showed how big of a loss Merritt was. In fact, the last quarter count was 20 for them and 4 for us, I believe, meaning we went inside 50 once for every 5 times they did. They had complete control around the ground. We never looked able to exit D50. Laverde obviously injured his shoulder, and the loss of him meant our defensive shape couldn't contain the entries as well as it had all game. It also meant we shifted Setterfield down back for a bit, which hurt our midfield, so we moved him back in the guts and then put Langford back, which hurt our forward line. It just added more pain on the pile, really, but even with Laverde on the field, I don't think we had get that game in the bag, if I'm being honest. So where was the game lost? To start with, the ruck duo was not it on Tuesday. Draper played very well, he was impactful, but Andrew Phillips outside of ruck contests was just not on, unfortunately, and even in contests his hit-out efficiency was not at its usual best. He was being worked around by Billy Frampton a week after destroying Brodie Grundy. It just doesn't really make sense to me. We gave their best players no respect and way too much room to move. Sidebottom and Josh Dacos owned the wings. Durham was outworked by them and couldn't have the defensive impact he usually does. Jordan De Goey in the guts was similar. He was super powerful, but of course, you know who I'm going to mention. Obviously, the ANZAC medal winning Nick Dacos. How can he have so much space all the times? Teams are surely going to start tagging him now because, well, it's just case in point in why you should. We were destroyed by him in that last quarter especially. The most frustrating aspect was the fact that we could not get our game going from defense to attack. It looked so good against the Ds, but we struggled to score from turnovers against the Pies. They had us covered. There was a severe lack of chain build-up plays, something we need to fix next week against the Cats. And of course, the big issue, when it mattered most, we crumbled. We looked so poor in that last quarter. We looked scared to take control. We were playing the game in our defensive half, just trying to escape our D50 and frantically trying to set back up when the ball was coming in the other way. There was no clear avenue to goals, no clear avenue to even get close to goals. We never looked like scoring, and even when we had opportunities, we wasted them. It's a respectable effort to come close against what I think is the best team in the comp, but we choked, plain and simple. Could we have won the game? Of course we could have. We should have won the game, in fact. We just couldn't deal with the Collingwood heat and the Collingwood pressure. We looked inexperienced, and it's why they had so many uncontested marks and uncontested possessions. They worked us so well. They didn't just work harder, but work smarter. It was a ferocious last quarter that we just didn't know how to deal with. Let's talk positives real quick before the performances and votes. We clearly have a method that works well when we put it together. Sure, it comes unstuck really easily, but at its best, it's bloody good footy, and we are young. We will have more games like this, frustrating games where we look lost and second-rate in patches, but elite in other moments. Better get used to it, guys. Defensively, I thought we were pretty sound. They are a high-scoring team, and we didn't let them kick ahead that much. I was proud of how well we dealt with their entries for the most part. Attack wins matches, but defense wins premierships, so I am glad Scott is trying to force this team defense on us before we start finding more avenues to goals. Any injuries? Snelling and Perkins were sore. I think they're alright though, but Laverde is the worst. He was subbed off with a shoulder issue, and he is apparently going to be out for about 2 months, which is not good. Players that underperformed: Jake Stringer had one good quarter. Andrew Phillips was poor around the ground. As I said, BZT wasn't at his best. Sam Durham played his worst game in a while, but now onto positives. Let's talk votes. As I said, leave your votes in the comments, 3, 2, 1 Brownlow style, but mine, we start with Carl Langford, who gets 1 vote, 3 goals, a lot of crucial touches. 2 votes to Andy McGrath, our stand-in captain. He had Bobby Hill in his pocket all game, but more importantly, he set up a lot of halfback. And speaking of halfback, Mason Redmond gets all 3. He was terrific down there, as he has been all year, just so tough and so consistent. Some unlucky not to get votes. Darcy Parish was good. Sam Wiedemann, I thought that was his best game in the red and black. Sam Draper was also very impactful in moments, and a mention to Nick Martin, who in that first half was brilliant. He lost his way late, but boy, that first half was good. And that is that. We finished the round in the top 4, but a disappointing week regardless. It was a special ANZAC Day, biggest crowd ever. It was good to be there in person as well, but that is the end of the video. Review done. My Geelong preview should be out tomorrow or the next day. Weird fixtures, so different upload times, but after this week it should go back to normal. But anyway, cheers for watching. Let's hope for a better result this week.